What's up, everybody? Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. I'm Aiden and I make content about endurance sports. So today we've got a bit of a special one. I'm testing out budget versus expensive kit, and like most specifically Decathlon kit, which is mostly what I'm wearing right now. The vest isn't Decathlon, but we'll get into that. Primarily though, I want to directly compare some really quite affordable kit to some really quite not affordable kit, to be honest, and see how it compares, see how it stacks up for specifically winter training. So I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. It's beautiful. As you can see, you know, I'm riding next to the beach right now, but it is the end of fall, kind of coming to the start of winter. And so it's getting cold. And winter kit is really the only way we can still get out and enjoy riding here in Vancouver all the way into to the end of the season. So up until recently, the kit options that at least I've had access to were all generally pretty expensive. Then we got a Decathlon here in Vancouver, and that kind of changed things. It opened up the door to some cheaper kit, and I tried their summer kit and really loved it. I fell in love with the material, the quality. So I went ahead and got some of their winter kit, and I'm gonna test that out now and see if it stacks up. Now I'm headed off to Stanley Park. I'm gonna do a couple loops, and I'm gonna change partway through this ride. I'm gonna head home and put on the other kit and see if I can notice a difference riding it back to back. But I'll stop here in a second and I'll go over what I'm wearing, how it breaks down, and the cost of everything, because that's the most important part. I think you're gonna be a little blown away by the cost difference between these two kits. I made it to Stanley Park, out on the gravel bike today, but let's talk about the kit. So this is the budget option. Basically, what I'm wearing is mostly Van Rysel Decathlon kit, and then this vest, this gilet, is a Spexel vest. I ordered that from AliExpress, and overall the entire kit cost is about $160 Canadian. You'll see that's cheaper than even one of the items in the expensive kit that I'll be wearing next. So we'll walk through from bottom to top what I'm wearing. So these are the Van Rysel long bibs. They've got cargo pockets on the side, pretty big cargo pockets. So I've got my phone, headphones, keys. It's great. And these honestly kind of blew me away. The best part is that they were $95 Canadian. So really, really affordable piece of kit. And they've got these reflective bands on the legs, which I think is nice for winter riding. Make sure that you're a little bit more seen. Let's go to the jersey. So this is a Van Rysel jersey, and it's actually their cheapest winter jersey. So this is not the RCR Racer line. This is just their standard winter cycling jersey, and I sized down to a size small to get it to kind of fit properly. It's got zippered pockets around the sides, and it's got a big zippered pocket in the back, so tons of storage. I mean, I don't really use it right now because I've got these cargo bibs, but overall this jersey is really comfortable. The inside of it is fleece lined, so it's pretty warm. All right, let's talk about the vest. So this gilet is the only item that I'm talking about today that's not Van Rysel or from Decathlon for this budget kit. And this is a Spexel vest. So this I ordered from AliExpress. I think it was only like 30 bucks. And it's super packable. It's sort of, again, like a mid-layer, mid-weight vest. It has no insulation, but it does have a sort of wind stop material. and it does, you know, has like a zippered pocket on the chest. Overall, I really like this vest, and it fits really well. This is a extra large, but it's Asian sizing, so a little bit different. You know, I read a bunch of reviews to try to figure out what size I was, but the biggest thing that I like about this vest is this double zip, and it has a really long pull tab on this zip, so it's super easy to go up and down on that zipper while you're riding. But I think it looks great. It's a good color, and overall, I've been super happy with this vest so far. You'll see in the more expensive kit later, I'm comparing this to a Maap vest, and there's a few notable differences, so we'll get into that soon. But I'm pretty happy with it. Either way, I'm gonna go do a loop, see how this all feels. I did ride this exact same kit actually yesterday, so I'm pretty familiar with how it performs, and I'm fairly happy. But what I haven't done yet is directly compared it to the expensive kit, wearing all of my most expensive items back to back in the same ride. So we're gonna go do a loop, get used to this kit again, head home, change into the more expensive kit, and see how that goes. Kit judgment aside, it is a beautiful day for a ride today. The colors are absolutely popping in Stanley Park these days. Roads are a little wet, but temperature's not too bad. It's maybe, I don't know, 10 degrees. It's a beautiful day, so I'm just enjoying this ride. And I get to review some kit for you, but it's the sun's peeking out, and so it's a win-win. I just want to also address, because I kind of forgot to, that absolutely nothing in this video is sponsored. I also didn't receive any of the kit from the cheap or the expensive option for free. Just wanted to caveat that. So I've started climbing up Prospect Hill now, and I just wanted to point out probably the best feature of this Spexel vest, and really what you should look for in most vests, is this second zip. Being able to open that up on climbs helps dramatically just regulate your temperature. I don't want to get to the top of this hill sweating and then go down the descent on the other side getting cold. So being able to adjust your temperature quickly is pretty sweet. Alright, I made it to the top of Prospect Hill. Time to zip this back up. Easy as that. Okay, I'm at the end of the Stanley Park loop now. So I'm gonna head home, change into the expensive kit, head straight back out here, give you a rundown, and test it out. Round 2. We are changed into the expensive kit now, and I'm headed back to Stanley Park. I'll give you a full rundown of what I'm wearing, and it's so interesting. I'm already noticing some differences that I didn't actually expect, so I can't wait to talk you through those at the end of this ride. But it's super cool to ride one set and then just change and quickly ride another set of kit back to back like this. You don't really do that, and it's highlighting some surprising differences between the two. So let me get to Stanley Park, and I will walk you through this outfit and this kit in a second. All right, I am back in Stanley Park again, this time with the expensive kit. So let me give you a rundown now of everything I'm wearing, as well as a little bit about how much it costs. So starting again at the bottom, these are the Rapha Core winter tights, and they don't have any of the cargo pockets, which is probably the biggest difference between these and the Van Rysel bibs. But they are about $200-ish, somewhere around there. I'll put the exact prices and links to the more modern versions of these down below. I should say everything that I'm wearing here I've had for a little while, so they may have made updates to some of the products now. I know especially this vest that I'll talk about in a second, they've made some pretty major updates too. But that's the Rapha Core winter tights. Up top, let's talk about the vest here. So this is a Maap vest. It is a little bit thicker or a little bit more maybe insulated than the Spexel vest that I was just wearing. But the one key difference between this and the Spexel vest is this one has only one zipper. So this does not zip up from the bottom with that dual zip like the Spexel vest, which I really, really enjoy from the Spexel vest. So that's a knock for this, but overall, the vest is pretty good. It's got some good cargo pockets, but over the years, the pockets have started to rip a little bit at the back where they the seams attach. But in general, Maap is pretty decent quality, and I do enjoy this vest. It's a little bit looser fitting than that Spexel vest, so I can wear it a little bit, I can wear it over some thicker layers if it's really, really cold out. I could even double up on vests if it was a super snowy ride or something like that. But let me take this vest off and I'll talk you through the jersey. I should also say this vest is also about $200, maybe $250. Again, I'll put everything down below in the description of the links to the more modern versions of them. All right. This jersey, this is from 7 Mesh. If you're not familiar with 7 Mesh, it's a Vancouver brand. They're actually based in Squamish, which is about an hour from here. But they are now pretty well known in the cycling world for quality, and they make a lot of gear that is specifically designed for the climate around here. It's wet, it's pretty cold. So this is a jersey, it's got a bit of a party trick. It's actually a Gore-Tex Infinium material. So it is water repellent, and it does have different panels. So on the arm, you can see here, this is a different material on the underside of the arm than the material on the top. So this is way more breathable, and it's not Gore-Tex. This is the Gore-Tex material, and so it helps with the wind stopping, as well as if the weather is shifting, if it might rain. This is the jersey I usually go for because it is just a little bit more flexible, and I know I can get home in a rainstorm with this jersey if I need to, and not get too cold. But overall, I'd say I really like this jersey. It doesn't feel great against your skin with that Gore-Tex material, so I do like wearing a base layer with this jersey if I can. This base layer is actually from Van Rysel. They make really good cheap base layers, but yeah, this is 7 Mesh, and again, this is about $200 for this jersey. And they do go on sale pretty often. So again, I'll link down below to it, but this is what I'm rocking today. So overall, this kit is more in the $600 to $650 range for the entire kit, versus we were at about $160 for the Van Rysel and Spexel kit that I was just wearing. I said on the way over here that I've noticed already, just from the ride to the park, some pretty dramatic differences between this kit and the budget kit that I actually wasn't expecting. So I'm gonna do a lap of the park just like I did with the other kit, and I will stop and chat through some of those differences as we get there, and then I'll do a little wrap up at the end and give everything a rating. So I was teasing a bit before that there were some big differences between these two sets of kit that I actually wasn't expecting. That actually has to do with the bibs. So since I got those Van Rysel winter bibs, I've mostly been reaching for those because they have that cargo pocket. And that's just so useful. The cargo pocket's so underrated. But I thought that the other aspects of the bib were about the same as my Rapha bibs. I had no real complaints. But that's the beauty of this back-to-back test, is that I can figure out exactly if that's true. And turns out it's not. These Rapha bibs have a better chamois. And I'm a bit surprised by that. I didn't mind the chamois in the Van Rysel bibs, but the Rapha bibs are noticeably more comfortable. So, you know, on my longer rides, I might reach for these instead. The other big difference is, despite being about the same kind of thickness material as the Van Rysel bibs, these Rapha bibs are warmer. And I wasn't really expecting that. So you're trading off a cargo pocket, but you are getting a more comfortable and warmer set of bibs. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's a trade-off that I would take most of the time. I'm on the Prospect Hill now in Stanley Park, and I'm feeling a little bit overdressed. Like I was saying before, these Rapha bibs are warmer than those Van Rysel ones. I think for climbing, right now it's maybe 10 degrees. It might be a little too warm. So I think those Van Rysel ones do have a place for sure. Now, the biggest kind of drawback right now is that I can't easily open up my vest. This Maap vest is that lack of zipper at the bottom really sucks, and I think they fixed that in the new models. I'm pretty sure they have that dual zip, so I'll link to the most comparable option down below, and I think if they have fixed that in the new models, then I'd be interested in trying that to compare it to the Spexel. I'm definitely overheating right now in this kit, but that means, you know, it's just a better winter kit, maybe not fall kit. So we'll see. On the descent, because I'm overheating on the climb, I might be a little sweaty and then be chilled on the descent, but I'll let you know. All right, so I made it to the end of the Stanley Park lap. I'm gonna head home and I'm gonna give you my final thoughts there. Oh, all right, I'm back. So really, those two kits, I think both are really fantastic options, and they come in at very different price points. But I did just want to give a bit of a rundown of each piece, as well as the kind of kit as a whole, as well as give a ranking or a rating for each piece. So let's start with the budget kit. The Van Rysel bibs. Now, I think that those Van Rysel bibs are pretty good, especially for the price. But it wasn't until I got on the Rapha bibs that I noticed the chamois on the Raphas are just better, and they're warmer. I think they're just a better product, but they're twice the price. So, you know, do you need something like the Rapha bibs? No, you definitely don't. You can get away with the Van Rysel bibs without an issue. And until I had compared them directly, I didn't really notice that those Van Rysel bibs had anything lacking. It is a cool exercise to be able to ride them side by side. But overall, I think the advantage goes to the Rapha bibs. If they had a cargo pocket, they'd be perfect, but they don't have a cargo pocket. So, you know, I might keep my eye out for an option like the Rapha bibs, but with a cargo pocket. So let's talk about ranking. I think that those Van Rysel bibs, I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10. I think my opinion of them was a little bit higher until I directly was able to compare them against the Rapha bibs. They offer a really, really good value point, and I definitely would go buy them again at that price point if I needed another set. I think that they serve a purpose in this shoulder season of autumn a little bit better, and those Rapha bibs are potentially a better option for winter riding. Now, talking about the Rapha bibs, I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10. I think if they had a pocket, they'd be more like in that 9 territory. A 10, I think you'd have to do something pretty unique to be able to earn a 10, but the Rapha bibs are pretty good. They just are missing that storage pocket, which I've become very accustomed to. Now, let's talk about jerseys. So I mentioned out on the ride that I had some issues with the Van Rysel jersey, but I just want to put into context, that jersey is $35. For that price, really, I think you can't go wrong. I am going to give it a ranking of probably a 6 out of 10, just because, you know, if I did pay more for it, if I was paying the same that I was paying as the 7 mesh jersey, I would be disappointed in, you know, the product. But for $35, it's really quite good. So, you know, if you don't have a thermal jersey, or if you just need an extra one, I think go get it. But size down on those Van Rysel stuff that's not the RCR line. Get a size down, and I think you'll be happy. Compared to the 7 mesh jersey, that jersey is incredible. I think what they've done with the multi-panel design of Gore-Tex and the breathable material, I think is really good. It creates quite a thin, lightweight jersey that you can wear into the colder temperatures. And it's something that I throw on if I'm not quite sure if it's going to rain or not. So it's a very flexible design, and I really appreciate it. I think if I had a couple more of those in my rotation, I don't think I'd really wear much else. But overall, I think I'm going to give that jersey a 9 out of 10. It's edging up towards that, you know, top spec level of what I, you know, could imagine a jersey would be. I think if it was slightly more form-fitting in the arms, then, you know, it could be a 10 out of 10. But giving it a 9. Moving on to the vests, starting with the budget option, the Spexel vest, I think was a pretty standout option here. I think I paid like $35 for it, something along those lines, and it's great. It's super packable. It's got that bottom zipper so that you can open it up on the climbs, prevent that extra sweating for the descents. And, you know, I like the colors, the design, the cut, everything about it is great. Again, you got to be careful with the sizing ordering from AliExpress, but I'm usually about a medium, and I ordered an extra large, and it fits me really well. So Spexel vest, I think I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It is more of a shoulder season vest, so for the actual winter cycling, I don't think it would really be insulating enough or warm enough. But for the shoulder season, or even in the summer for the cold mornings, and then you want to stuff it away in your jersey pocket, I think that Spexel vest is a winner. Moving on to the Maap vest, I think of all of the pieces today, I think it's probably the most expensive, and I think it's what let me down the most. Not having that bottom zipper is a really big problem with a vest, you know, not being able to just control your temperature really, really easily. And I was overheating a bit on just a short climb. So I think I'm going to give the Maap vest probably a 6 out of 10. it was a little bit disappointing, especially for the price. And now, looking at it, the entire kit of the expensive kit versus the budget kit, I mean, I think I would go with the budget option most of the time. I know I'm saying that the Rapha bibs are better and that the 7 mesh jersey is incredible, but it's like 3 times the price, for more than that, for that expensive kit. And I went out and enjoyed my ride with the cheap kit the same amount as I went out and enjoyed with the expensive kit. If you have anything that you think is a really good option for winter cycling, leave me a comment down below, and I'd love to test more kit out and especially see how it compares to that Decathlon kit. I think that's a really interesting baseline to compare against, where, you know, most of the time people buying that kit are getting into cycling, or they're newer, they don't want to invest too much money into new kit. So it's an interesting comparison to see, you know, is it worth going to these more expensive brands? So leave me a comment down below if you have any suggestions of what I should try out next, or if you have a favorite piece of kit that you wear during the winter, especially for when the temperatures get really cold and wet. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.